Hey, folks. Appreciate y'all hanging in to the bitter end today, the die-hards staying with us till the end. But just in terms of statement-wise, guys, really, really excited about the group of guys we got coming back and what's possible for the season. We've been answering questions all day about it, but a lot of nervous energy built up in staff and players going into the fall with really, really high expectations. The O-line coming back and being healthy, we didn't have those guys in the spring, bringing back majority of the defense that had such a great year in terms of creating turnovers and scoring points a year ago. And then just the excitement in some of the potential offensive weapons that we have. Very few that have played so far for us, but that appear to be dynamic playmakers in practice and on film. So with that, man, we want to go in and try to build from what we finished up doing a year ago with a conference title, and the expectation is to compete for it again this year and win it. And we know what that means. That's going to be difficult, but that's the expectation. And then hopefully take the next step and play in a way in the non-conference schedule that puts us in the conversation in the group of five as one of the best teams in the country. So we're gonna start working on that, and it's going to happen real quickly. A week and a half from now, it's going to be time to go. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you guys got.
Hey Blake, Adam Hunsucker from the New Star from Monroe, Louisiana. Looking from what you guys lost last year, the kind of season you had, and being picked to finish second in the year this year, is there a sense among your guys of, we really, we've won 4 out of the last 5 conference titles, and we're not going anywhere? They kind of use that as motivation.
I was informed today, and didn't really know this, but we've never been picked to win it. But we found a way to win it 4 out of the last 5 years. Obviously, it's where we finish, not where we start. I think we started the season last year, was preseason ranked number 2 or 3. I can't really remember that. That tells you just about how much I paid attention to it. The expectation at our place is high regardless of where the rankings tell us we are. And so I think they're just motivated on trying to build on what we've done and continue what has been started there and upholding that.
Scheduling for this year, you guys will play Appalachian State. Kind of looking in the preseason, like you guys are going to be the 2 best teams in this thing this year. As you kind of run your race, so to speak, and control what you can control on your schedule, do you keep an eye on those guys to see what they're doing since it's kind of going to shake out the conference title?
Well, I'd kind of take the approach that all we can do is control us anyway. We got to assume that they're going to run the table. We can't play them. We can't worry about somebody else doing the job for us. I think we have to take the approach they're going to win them all, which means we got to do the same on our end. And if somewhere along the way that changes, then maybe it's worth conversation. But that's just the way the nature of the conference works. We're going to have plenty of challenges along the way without worrying about what they are or not doing on the other side of the schedule.
You mentioned your offensive line. Are they all healthy coming out of spring? Now that some of them missed spring, are they ready to go?
Yeah, we should be good for fall camp. Jamar's with us. He's one of the guys that missed. He's been clear. Morton's been cleared. All those guys were ahead of schedule. A couple of them maybe could have worked some in spring, but just didn't see the benefit of it. So, barring anything unforeseen, I would expect us to be healthy, with the exception maybe of Chris Murray, who we will probably manage on the daily basis until we know that he's truly ready. And structurally, Troy, he'll be ready structurally. It's just whether or not he's really ready to mentally turn loose and play. I would expect him ready for game time, though.
What's the ceiling for that offensive line? If the 5 guys have all started, at least some. I mean, if they can all, barring injury, and kind of be out there throughout the year with the ceiling.
Well, if we can stay healthy, it can be a really, really good O-line. That was our best 5 collectively at any point last year when those 5 guys were healthy and played together in the positions that they'll start the fall. That was our most athletic, best 5 players on the O-line. And so, an injury didn't allow for that to happen a whole lot throughout the course of the year. There seemed to always be somebody, getting replaced or mixed in. But I think it's a really good, solid. I think athletically, mobility-wise, ability to get out in space and do things on the edges, it's a unique group. We're not huge, we're not overpowering, but very, very athletic. And we need them to be with as many new parts as we have. And with the quarterback race going to be the way it is, we need the O-line to be solid.
With Jamar specifically, he was picked all conference last year. I think he only played in 8 games. Mike, just kind of fighting through those, and kind of what have you learned about him in 2 years?
Well, when he was healthy, he was really solid. You didn't worry about the left side. He did not get beat one-on-one very much, and I think take for granted just how athletic he was in space. We did a lot of things on the edges. That was a real big part of the offense last year, basically because of Freddie and because of Mike, and he was able to allow us to do that. The thing that I think of consistency when I think of Jamar. Consistency, just a very accountable, reliable, dependable guy. And quiet, he doesn't say a whole lot, so you don't get a lot out of him. He probably talked more today doing interviews than he's talked all year. But he's going to come to work, he's going to be a leader, and he's going to give you all he's got. And you don't have to have a guy say a whole lot if he'll do that.
But guys like Xavier Wilson-Lester, Javon Rollins-Jones, Cody Brown, is the defense the strong point going into the season, and will it carry you through the first month?
Well, I think it could, and I would love to think that it will, if needed. I would also like to think that we can find the pieces of the puzzle we need offensively to be dynamic day one and week one. Now, that may or may not be the case, and so there's some pressure on our defense to come out and play at a high level early in case there's some growing pains offensively. It's similar to what I said. If our O-line, because all 5 starters are going to be back, if they can be stable and secure and solid from day one, it can take some pressure off the other offensive players. But, the defense, with the way they played last year and the confidence level they took in the spring and turnovers and scoring points defensively, all that can really, if need be, if we need them to, can be, the security of our team starting out in a really tough schedule until we can get that offense up and running.
With the tough schedule, how are you depth-wise across the board?
I wouldn't say we're deep. I wouldn't say we're deep anywhere, to be honest with you. I think that's probably the biggest concern is, you look at our starting 11 on either side of the ball, and they're going to be able to play with anybody. Our team speed is the best we've had, but we're not very deep, and we're only an injury away here or there of playing guys that have virtually no experience. And there is a significant difference between some of those starters and the guys backing them up at this point. And depth is something that is going to take time to get a hold of, and we definitely have not solved that problem yet. And we were able to stay healthy a year ago for the majority of the season. It kind of took its toll down the stretch, especially towards the bowl game. We were beat up, and you saw the difference in our team when that happened. It's a challenge to stay healthy, and we have to be really conscious of that as we practice and how we prepare in terms of body maintenance and how much we hit, how much we tackle. And it's probably a lot more like an NFL training camp for us than it would normally be because the lack of depth.
Leading up to your first practice of camp and all, do you see the quarterbacks starting to be a little competitive? Maybe somebody showing stuff before you get to practice, who wants it more, who might be the leader?
Well, I think everybody's done what they're supposed to be. I think everybody's done what they're supposed to this point to be in the conversation. I really think that all 4 of them deserve an opportunity. Now, we can't watch 4 quarterbacks for very long, but they've all done what they're supposed to do through the spring, through the summer, leading up to fall camp. How quickly that race defines itself, the sooner we can make it truly a 2-man and then maybe even a 1-man conversation is going to be important to moving forward. But I think the worst thing we can do is move too fast and eliminate somebody either from the conversation or put somebody into a position they're not quite ready for. Ultimately, 10 days out of the first game would be the latest we'd want to have an answer. But we've been there before and had to play more than one quarterback, and we found a way to succeed at it, and that could very well be the case again this year. I don't want to put us in a corner. We just got to take it one day at a time. And the thing that's great about it is that they have worked really hard together to get to a point where we have good options. We have quality options to replace Freddie.
Bigger picture with regard to ESPN3, what is it? Have you heard any reaction from fans or from recruits or anything in terms of kind of?
A lot from recruits.
Yeah.
A lot from recruits. It's been all positive. And even family. I've got family that don't travel to watch us, and it's been quality broadcast. It's gotten better every year. If you look at it now, everybody's got something on an iPad or on a phone or on a smart TV. Everybody can get it, and every year it has gotten better. Recruits, they can always see us play. we're able to be seen every week, and they're tuning in and watching it. So I think it's been a great package for us. I was apprehensive about it in the beginning because I didn't truly understand it. The more we've done it, the more we've utilized it, and have watched a lot of different events on there myself, the more excited I am that we've got the package that we have and that it's available and that people can get to it easily.
Coach, in your opening statement, you talked about almost being perfect because you're not playing every state here. So can you talk more about how college football last year feels like? You had that special season, you pretty much have to run it.
Yeah, you don't have an opportunity to make a mistake. It just there is no other sport and no other system like it. Everybody else in any other sport has, either a preseason where you can make a mistake and it doesn't really matter, or they've got just get to the playoffs and be at your best when you get to the playoffs. Division I college football is the only sport out there where you truly have to be perfect from week one to the end. And not that the playoff system hasn't allowed for at least a team to falter somewhere, but it doesn't allow for us to. The way it's set up for us, I would say, to represent the group of 5, 11-1, maybe if things are working, if it's the right 11-1, 12-0 gives you a chance, still not a guarantee. And obviously everybody in our league wants to represent the group of 5. We all want to be that team that has that year, but there is no margin for error. I mean, we've got to be ready to play at a high level on September 2nd. We can't wait, which we did a year ago. We were not ready to truly play. We had an opportunity to get that signature win against Missouri, and we didn't finish it. We've got to be ready for that opportunity this year from day one. If you're not, then you take that opportunity to represent the group of 5 at the end of the season. You take that off the table really quickly.
You add then to what you were just saying about if you're not outside of the league, I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, you haven't been able to beat Toledo, and then you got to go out to Utah, you got Auburn.
Yeah. We may have the toughest 5-week stretch to start the season of anybody. One of the best teams from the MAC in Toledo. Obviously, the SEC opponent, not too far away from a national championship, only a few years, and may have the best D-line they've had in forever. Utah State, it's one of the best teams in the Mountain West. We had to beat them in overtime 2 years ago, and they'll be a better football team, and probably a top 25 1AA opponent coming into our place, and then Georgia Southern, who's picked 3rd in our league and won it 2 years ago. So that's our first 5 weeks. You tell me where we take a week off. You tell me where we can afford to have a bad week, and I just don't see it. We've got to be ready and be ready quickly, and therein lies the concern with as many new weapons on offense, new quarterback. We got to do a great job of solidifying those spots and finding some continuity so we can play at a championship level right out of the gate because of the schedule.
Well, given what you talked about, the group of 5, trying to beat that team from
Yeah.
that group, do you like the championship game concept?
Well, it's there's good and bad. There's good and bad of it, and I've been on the other side of this, and a lot of conversation going into it. If you have that year where you've had a team that's had a special year and gets to that championship game in a position to be that top team and they lose, it devastates you. And I was there in 2011. I was part of that. I saw it happen, but at the same time, I love what the championship game brings to college football. It's the most fun, the most exciting experience I've had as a coach in 24 years was that game, the environment that surrounded it, the game day atmosphere. That's the most enjoyable experience that I can remember as a coach. And I can tell you, players will tell you the same thing. So I think it's great for the league, and I think it's great for the sport. I just know there is a risk involved if we've got a team that gets there, with 1 loss or undefeated and is the highest ranked group of 5 team. They're going to beat somebody again, and they're going to beat somebody that's a really good football team again, more than likely. And that's pretty big risk.
Do you like the 8-team rotating schedule, or would you rather play all 9?
I'm gonna fit right in the middle. The all 9 creates some serious issues. I love the idea of playing everybody. I love the fact that you've played everybody and there's no questions out there as to who's really the best team. I also understand that it creates a a problem in terms of home games. You know, one year you're going to be on the road 5, one year you're going to be on the road 4, and it creates some issues at being able to schedule and get home games. And I never want to have a season where I don't have at least 6 home games. So I don't know that issue may be too big to cross, and where you got to go with 8 in the divisions. But you know, if you look at playing everybody once and you take the 2 top teams, at least you know that everybody earned their right to be there, and you got the right 2 teams. It just does create some problems too.
In terms of managing the transition from an established quarterback to a new one, is that a huge challenge for a head coach, or can that be overblown?
It all depends on the kid. It all depends on the kid and how quickly he picks it up. It could be no problem at all. If one of these kids just comes in really, really prepared and comfortable with what we do and plays at a high level, he can make my job real easy and make Buster Faulkner, my coordinator's job, easy. It's if they struggle is when then it can become obviously significant because we do have a tough starting schedule. There's not a lot of room for error. It's not real forgiving. And if you have bad quarterback play, it's not something that you hide very well. It will make a definite impact. So I think it's got to do with them and just how quickly do they become comfortable and can play at the level that physically they're capable of. They're all physically capable of being very good at the position, but carrying that over to game time and playing effectively is something different altogether, and that's what we're searching for.
So the experience on offensive line really could mitigate that threat.
Well, it sure make them comfortable. You know, you would have to think that 5 starting O linemen, that have played together and played well together and won together, could take a lot of pressure off that guy and let him know I don't have to worry about people getting to me. You know, these guys are solid. That along with a solid defense, that if we do make a mistake offensively, they can get us out of a hole or maybe even create some short fields. Those 2 things could make all of it a lot easier on the quarterback and the quarterback situation. Anybody else? Thanks, guys.